Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another deck profile. Today I'm here with Brandon, who got first place at the Houston Pro Play Tour Qualifier event with 79 players. Brandon, how's it going, man?
Fantastic.
Awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that. So, you played Blue Baby, which what was really interesting about that event was that it was a control finals, right? Blue Baby versus Invoker. So, firstly, what made you want to play Blue Baby? Have you been playing Blue Baby for a long time? Is it a new pickup for you? Kind of talk me through it.
So I've been playing Blue Baby since it came out. I just like I used to play Red Baby a lot, and I just like the character. And so when Blue Baby came out, I was immediately drawn to it. I play all the decks in the meta. When they first come out, I buy a case and I put everything together, and then I test everything to see what works. I'm the most comfortable. I've had the most success with Blue Baby. I win a lot of locals and a lot of local events with that here in Houston. We have a pretty big tournament scene. So I was kind of prepared. I actually, during one of our streamed events, I actually told PR Sign, who did the commentating, that I was going to play Blue Baby and I was going to win. So I was already pretty confident with the deck.
Very cool, man. Yeah, that's one of the very common things I hear with Baby. He's like the character the most that people say like, oh, I love the character, so I just play all the Baby decks, and then like the Baby decks happen to be pretty good. So that's really cool. But yeah, deck is obviously super strong. It's even looking insane going into set 14. So let's see some of the main deck stuff you got, and maybe we'll even talk about some of the changes you'll make into set 14 if you think of any as we go through. But yeah, so here's our main, like, body, floodgate, negate lineup. It's all pretty standard. 2 rogue prospect in the main, which you are side decking more copies. Did you just feel like there wasn't going to be a lot of like Dark Broly, or why only 2 rogue prospect in the main?
Well, so there was a little bit of controversy with this event when it first came up about whether or not to implement the ban list.
Right.
And Dark Broly had already kind of started to fall off a little bit. Obviously, I keep track of kind of a little bit just conscious of what the other tournament outcomes are, and I know King Vegeta was going to be there. I have a pretty good matchup going against Dark Broly even without Heroic Prospect, just because of the other floodgates and because of some of the other main deck choices that I have. So I wasn't super worried about maining 4. Obviously 4 and 4 of the other 2 floodgates is just broken, but
Right.
Heroic Prospect just seemed to me that 2 would be good. It is a good negate against other decks, especially if people take the Ready to Rumble challenge. Then Heroic Prospect becomes super live, because if they don't kill you that turn, then Heroic Prospect shuts down any attack they're going to have on the follow-up. So 2 just felt like a good number.
Nice. Do you feel like that ratio stays the same going in set 14 with the way the meta might shift? What do you think?
Yes, and that might even be a card that just becomes completely sideboarded, depending on what how the meta shapes up. Dark Broly is only the really one that you need, that it hits really well, because you're not playing your unison till 4. So by the time Heroic Prospect becomes extremely valuable, which is just the 1 cost negate, your opponent's either on 5 or 4, so it's not going to be as valuable. So it might be something I take out in the future completely.
Fair enough. So now we have obviously our 4 Avengement Bang Attack and our 4 D Magic, super staple, but where you get a little techie is Mechiorp and Mafuba. So Mechiorp is pretty cool. I think it's pretty hit or miss in Baby. Some people love it, some people don't play it. I think it's super good. And Mafuba, though, I'm definitely very curious about why you wanted to main deck tech Mafuba. In this deck, it's insane because it is a 1 cost Mafuba. What were some of the main usages you wanted to have for Mafuba in this tournament?
Save me couple times. I dropped 2 games in the entire tournament, and I should have dropped more, and if I hadn't run this card, I would have. So the reason I run it is because I knew that Blue Baby was going to be prevalent. I actually played the other 2 babies that topped. I played those in Swiss, and this card was a difference maker. It came up pretty big, not huge, but it was effective against my top 4 match against Soul Striker, because he was playing the Frieza package. So obviously you play Mafuba, it takes care of the Demigro, the Thwarting the Empire, so you don't have to worry about those for a couple turns. I really wanted to put Apex in a jar, but that really wasn't going to happen because they see my hand first.
Right.
And then it's just good against any kind of bombs that anybody's trying to play. In round 3, I played against Majin Vegeta, and I won game 1, so he went first going game 2, and he actually tactical victoried my field spell on his turn 2, my turn 1.
Oh, wow.
And Mafuba is the reason I was able to still win that game without my field spell. Because he played his 3-drop Vegeta on his turn 3, and I put it in a jar, and I was able to stabilize and eventually win that game. So it was super clutch. I would not change that. 2 is the perfect number for me.
Very cool. I love that phrase, put it in a jar, by the way. I like that a lot. So all right, we got our 4 Majin Buu Unison. I think pretty much most baby players have converted to this instead of like the baby Unison. Even though it comes down a turn later, it's just so busted. Like once you get this card established, I'm assuming it just feels like the game is just really rolling into your favor, right?
Well, so the problem with the turn 3 Unison is unless you had Baby Hatch, you couldn't play it on turn 3 anyways. The meta is so aggressive, especially back then, that if you played tapped out for that Unison, there was a good chance that you weren't seeing the next turn. So I would, unless I had Baby Hatch, I always played that Unison on turn 4 anyways. So this is just an upgraded version of that card. It has removable blocker, untapping. You're never tapped out. There were games where I won where Hatch just stayed in my hand forever because I don't like to play Hatch unless I absolutely have to. And with this Unison, you just never have to play the Unison. It was always just an emergency button in case I got countered. If the black Kamehameha card that warps whatever you play, just if they were to stop a floodgate, then I had this just in case. And that's the only time I ever played Hatch. And the Unison makes that possible.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, the card is absolutely super busted. I am curious a little bit, though, about Hit Deadly Vanguard in the main board. I feel like this is normally a sideboard card for Blue Baby, but what was the main reasoning you wanted it in the main?
I knew that I was going to see a lot of blue babies, so this is great to keep them from floodgating you. It's great against the Frieza because a lot of people still play the Frieza package in theirs, and it's great against they tap 4, give me a card back because they have to, which I forgot in the one time it was played against me. But and then it bounces it back to hand. It hits the another hard matchup is Vegix because they main deck the Silver Bullets. So being able to bounce back into Meager was super clutch too because then also get to hit I also get to hit one of their Silver Bullets as well. So it was just I like running counterplays in that deck. Baby Diabolic Parasite is just maybe the best card in the deck in my opinion. It's a 1-drop 19k body that does bottom decks a 4-drop. That card is too good. So it just felt like the right number, and then the deck cycles so much that if I have to charge these and when you get to the super combos, it just makes it where I always have exactly what I need when I need it.
Yeah, of course, all these cards essentially being searchable by your Awakened Leader also makes it really insane for sure. And speaking of the super combos, you're playing 2 Xeno Edge of Space and 2 Discipline Warrior. I definitely think Edge of Space has become really good in this meta in particular, where like Mecha Frieza can tap you out, because if you're playing blue and as long as you're playing Zeno, you're never truly tapped out, which is really nice. But you also went for a 2-2 split, so how did the 2-2 split work out for you?
For a couple weeks before the tournament got here, I was actually running 4 Edge of Space, but I never felt it made finishing games and it made cycling a little more difficult. I don't ever want to play the 1-drop Zeno against most matchups because it has no protection and they just kill it immediately. So it just made it to where like I was never having enough draw power. But you have to run this card. A great reason why is you Gohan on 2, they take the Gohan challenge, you get to 5, they're trying to finish you tapped out, and just having that Zeno to untap, then you go into reverse Big Bang. Now you got 2 untapped again. It's just like they took that challenge for no reason. So I really just run that card for that reason, so I can tap out on 2 with Gohan. And then if they go for it, then they're going to regret it because I'm just going to be able to untap it anyway. So that's the main reason there.
Gotcha. And then Sun Gohan Piccolo Skill Sharpen. I love this as a main board tech. One of my teammates actually also techs this in the main. And this is basically just to remove the Silver Bullets. That's super strong. I am curious about Obuni though. I don't think a lot of Blue Baby players play Obuni. So why did you decide to include this one? I
need an extra finisher for certain matchups. Obviously the aggressive aggro matchups, you're just in survival mode, and the units, and they're taking their own life too. So the Unison is usually enough to kind of get that extra pressure in. It's a double striker who can finish the game. But I play a very like if you're watching in my stream games, I'm very methodical. You never see me shotgun. I'm gonna just constrict until you have no resources left. Attacking is a form of hand control. So if I attack you 4 times and you have to pitch a card or pitch 2 cards every time, I just plus 7 if you count the number of tokens I got. So I think Obuni's just probably one of the best attacking cards in the game. And then you get that effect online with the blue the Buu Unison. You're untapping 2 energy per turn. Like, to me, that card's a no-brainer.
Yeah, makes sense. Fair enough. And then for the boss monsters, so basically you're playing 3 Baby Golden Avenger. What's really cool is you're not playing the Baby Unison, so this is always going to cost you 5, but there are many circumstances I think a lot of players wouldn't even realize where this can win you the game by tapping 5 for it, like, you know, negating a certain counter, like if you're going in with your Unison, let's just say. But then the 2 Turning the Tide and the 2 Secret Identity, I like this a lot. I don't even think a lot of Baby players play Overrealm, but you can like free play Secret Identity and then tap 7 for Turning the Tide, which gives you an additional attacker. That's really cool. So overall, I mean, Turning the Tide was a card that a lot of people thought or hoped would get banned going into set 14, and clearly it's not, right? So how many games across the day did this card actually win you that maybe you wouldn't have won otherwise?
So Turning Tide won me 3 games total. I was afraid to play it most of the time, especially in game 2s, because everybody was running Jiren. Jiren was everywhere. The most important game it won me was game 2 against Legends, because I saw that he wasn't running Jiren in his side, and if you watch that match, he had probably about 12 to 14 cards in hand. I had 1 card left in my hand after defending against everything he had, and I dropped Android 17 and I attacked for game. That was it. He was a 1 life. So that was the most important effect. Yeah, tapping 5 for Baby Golden Avenger won me a ton of games. If you watch, it won me my game 1 against Legends. It won me in round 7, which is the final round. It won me that game where I just hard casted it, bottom decked his drum, and swung for game. He didn't have anything to stop it after that. The removal on it is broken, and tapping 5 is no problem because, like I said, you got your Boo Unison out. You're going to untap 1 anyways, so it really costs 4 when you look at it like that. And then Secret Identity was chosen. If you see, I'm not running Fu, and I kind of got a little flack from a couple players about not running Fu Shrouded in Mystery. I think it's a 10-drop, right?
Yep.
And the reason I run Secret Identity is because the biggest knock on Blue is Blue has no removal.
Right.
So I main deck 4 cards that just in the Son Gohan, Piccolo, and Secret Identity that just provides a ton of removal against Vegix. I played the guy that got second, the Vegix player that got second for the after Swiss. I played his Vegix deck, and Secret Identity wiped 6 battle cards off his board. It was disgusting. That card was too good, too clutch.
Yeah, those are definitely some major pluses. So, all right, so here I'll let you kind of just walk us through the sideboard with your choices.
Okay, so the hardest matchups are some of the matchup choices. So Mecha Frieza was a matchup that I was really worried about that I didn't actually have to play against. There was only 2 competitive Mecha Frieza players there. And the sideboard for that was the Final Hope Slash and the SS Go Tanks because I needed to be able to remove the 3-drop that makes all my extra cards cost an extra 1. And I wanted to be able to untap if they tap me out. And that's what Final Hope Slash was there for. So if they tap me out with the Vegeta player, the Final Spirit Cannon, and they think they're about to win the game, then I can untap, and then there you go, I'm wide open again. The Max Power Kamehameha was mainly for Dark Broly and anything else that was going to put a big threat on the board early, like I think I did sided against the Majin Vegeta matchup. It's just 1-piece removal. So for Dark Broly, I sideboarded the Max Power and the Mecha Kaboras. I put in, I'll get to that one last, and then obviously my other Heroic Prospect, and then the mirror match, and the reason I won my mirror matches against Blue Baby was I main decked, I side decked 2 Borgos. Nobody else was doing that. And against the other FOE player, I was able to get that out on turn 2, and he actually forgot about it, and he took a life, and that actually won me the game. And then against the other baby player in game 2 and 3, I got both of them out like super early, so those games were over. And then the last choice I had was the anti-burn card. I was siding that against obviously against the 2 Invoker players that I played against in top 16, and then as well as if I thought that they had the silver bullets themselves, I put that in there. So if there was a time where I actually absolutely had to burn myself to untap to not die, I would be able to put that life back with SS Vegeta.
That's really cool, actually. I didn't even consider that as like a counter to a counter, right? That's actually really cool. So overall, man, I really appreciate the time. You clearly have a lot of experience with the deck, so I think players are going to really appreciate, you know, going in depth with this deck profile. Any shout outs you want to throw out there here at the end?
Shout out to my team Rays. They spent a lot of time helping me get the deck put together. Shout out to the 2 shops that I play at, Galaxy Gaming over there in west side of Houston, and Alter Ego Cards and Comics in Baytown. So appreciate the time. Appreciate you letting me explain the deck, and it was a really great tournament. I look forward to more PPG events in the Houston area.
Awesome, man. Thanks for your time. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.